everyone, Katie Colleen here. Welcome back, Colleen Clan, or if you're new, then come join the family. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a sleeveless fitted top for your cosplay or fashion desires. So this top is actually for my Lucy Heartfilia cosplay from the Grand Magic Games arc of the anime Fairytail. So let's get into some patterning. So I'm going to be using this Wonder Woman pattern. There are probably a few more accurate patterns to go off of. I chose this one because I used the same pattern for my Muzakuro cosplay and it fit me pretty well, at least in the front few panels. It was nearly a perfect fit. So now let's make a few alterations. I'm going to definitely make this longer. So I'm going to take a measurement from about where the top of this shirt would be down to my waist. And I'm giving myself a lot of extra room here. I'm using this stretch purple fabric. You want something with a lot of stretch, otherwise you're gonna have to do a zipper in the back, which isn't really a problem, but you definitely want to know ahead of time. So for today's tutorial, I will not be needing a zipper. This just slides on over my head. So I'm going to be cutting out all of the top pattern pieces. There's the front, the side back, and the back. And those are all going to be extended down to the length of where my waist would be. Now I decided to also make this top completely lined. So that means that I'm going to have 2 layers to the top. One is going to be on the outside and one is on the inside. So that means I'm going to actually have to cut out everything twice. And lining just makes it look a lot more finished. You can't see any of the rough seams and it's a lot thicker. So if you're worried about your fabric being too sheer, lining is definitely a good way to go. So first I'm going to sew the side front to the front. So I'm going to sew right sides together. Whichever side of the fabric you want facing outward, put those sides together and pin them. So zigzag stitch right along the edge. It will really help the fabric stretch and kind of stretch with the seams. And then I'm going to sew the side back to the back. Same as we did on the front, but for the back. So then I'm going to sew the sides together. So all of your pattern pieces should be sewn together except that back seam is still open. This is a good point to do some fitting. Still leave that back seam unsewn. We want this to be flat to add some decorations. So I'm going to be adding the Fairytail symbol and I'm going to be doing something called an applique. And that is where you'll take another fabric. I'm using this satiny fabric, which is actually leftover fabric from my wedding dress. And I'm going to be sewing that on with a really tight zigzag stitch. And I have a few tutorials on how to do an applique stitch, so I'm going to link those in the description down below if you want to know more about it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep moving on with this tutorial. So now we're going to take exactly what we did before, all those panels, and we're going to do it completely over again for the lining. Now before we sew the outside layer to the lining, I want to make sure that I have the right shape. And I'm going to change the shape of the kind of like waistline bottom part of this top. In the design that I'm going off of, she has like this V kind of cut into it. So I'm going to take off quite a bit of fabric at the bottom. Still give yourself room to sew this to the lining. So however short you want it to be, add like probably about 1/2 inch to be safe, 1/4 inch if you're a person who likes taking risks. And we're gonna sew this outside layer to our lining. So the way that we're gonna do that is we're gonna put right sides together. So all the finished seams are gonna be on the inside and all your rough edges are gonna be on the outside. So I just sewed the top neckline and the very bottom together. Once those are done, you can just flip the entire thing inside out. So now we have the outside layer and the lining all sewn together. Now there is one other thing I'm gonna do, which is gonna make this look very nice. So I'm gonna do a top stitch and I'm just gonna do it on that top neckline that we have sewn together and that bottom kind of waistline shape. So on those seams, I'm gonna do a straight stitch just along the edge. This is gonna make that top neckline a lot flatter and you're gonna have this very nice stitching going along the edges. And then we can finally move to sewing up the back seam. So for this pattern, as I mentioned before, it fits the front very nicely, but it's a little too long in the back. By a little, I mean like 2 inches. It's actually a lot. So I'm going to just try this on and see how much I need to take in the back. So I'm going to just sew the back together. Just one last seam, sewing it all together. I definitely recommend trying it on before you cut off the excess fabric. That is key. That is key. One final thing I'm going to do to this top is I'm going to make a little bow. So I'm going to cut out 3 rectangles of fabric. So I'm going to have one for the body of the bow, one for the little tail, and then that little centerpiece that holds everything together. Now, these rectangles I'm going to fold in half, and I'm going to sew, see there's that one seam on the side. I'm going to sew that, and now we're going to have 3 tubes. And I'm going to flip these all inside out. So now I'm going to take my biggest rectangle that I had, and that is going to be the body of the bow. So I'm just going to sew both ends of that tube together. We want like this nice loop. And I'm going to fold in the edges of the bottom sash as well, just because it's really frayed. My serger is down right now. So I'm just going to fold in those really ugly frayed edges. That looks much nicer. Then take that centerpiece and sew it together on the back. And now we have this cute little bow. Now for sewing the bow on, it is quite a few layers of fabric. So I'm actually just going to hand sew it onto the front of our top. And that's how I sewed my sleeveless top for my Lucy Heartfilia cosplay. I really am trying to incorporate more beginner-friendly tutorials on my channel, so I hope this was helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.